Hey everyone, it's Richard Payne here from Halifax Homes and Lifestyles, enjoying the end of a little bit of sunshine that we've had here in Halifax today. Been inside working on a lot of different projects, a lot of things to get sorted, whilst we are obviously in a little bit of a state of flux and not showing as many houses because it's coronavirus. But the one question I've been asking and I've been asked to answer is, can you still buy a house in the next, say, 15 to 30 days with obviously all the issues of coronavirus? So let's get you answered. So it's a new style of world out there today for real estate. We have that coronavirus. We have sellers who are obviously looking at not listing their houses, taking their houses off the market, looking at implementing a lot of strategies, a lot of different regulations in terms of buying, making offers, viewing properties, sterilization, sanitization, and all of those other things. But the big question that we want to get answered is, can you actually still buy a house? And there's a variety of different answers to this. And of course, it always really does depend on your particular situation. And that's what we've been spending quite a bit of time, is chatting to clients and seeing where they're at, because there are a lot more measures that have been put in place to keep obviously the sellers and their families secure, safe and healthy with obviously the coronavirus that is out there now. And it's coming down to a few different things. The short answer to can you still buy a house is yes, absolutely you can. There's just a lot more things that are going to come in place because of the regulations and some of those strategies that have been put in place deliberately to try and stop this spread of the coronavirus. Now, the first thing that's going to happen is it's really coming down to only the people who are what we would call the decision makers, the people that are going to actually sign the agreement, sign the offer to send to the sellers. They're the only people, plus one realtor, who are allowed actually in the property at any one time. There is no mass viewings. Here in Nova Scotia, they've even started to look at shutting down open houses. And I'm pretty sure actually this morning that regulation came out that said, nope, that's it. Open houses are done. We're not doing open houses. They're encouraging everybody to do virtual online viewings only. So those kind of 3D Matterport virtual tour walkthroughs, just because they want to stop people obviously taking the coronavirus with them, even though they might not be showing any symptoms, and actually putting it in another house, which, as we all understand, it would be pretty bad thing for us all to do. So yes, you can still offer, but if you only get that virtual viewing, and actually I was asked by some fellow realtors to do a virtual viewing on one of my listings today actually, and we sent them across the video. It was all about the fact that buyers are feeling nervous about walking into somebody else's house. And yes, there's hand sanitization, there's Lysol wipes, there's booties for people to put over their shoes so they don't have to take their shoes off when they're walking through the house anymore. But there's still that idea of touching handles. And the one thing I said is anybody who's viewing a house is we do not touch handles, we do not touch any surfaces, we don't open doors, don't open fridges, closets, any of the stuff that we used to take as granted, we just don't do that anymore. Now, one of the things, chatting to our mortgage broker, shout out to Danielle Hardy at Premier Mortgage Centre, is that she said they are absolutely needing the full 10 business days now for financing condition, and appraisals are absolutely firmly and squarely back in the deal now of being asked for by the banks to make sure that properties aren't being overpaid for. And at the same time, you know, it's about the bank protecting their investment. It's about them knowing that if you're paying $400,000 for a house, it's worth at least $400,000 or more. So those are some of the extra conditions, and definitely the time scale has spent out. And because people in the banks are working at home, they're putting more pressure on their systems, and obviously the speed is slowing down because it's all remote access now. It's not people like actually in the office direct into the system. So that's going to slow things down naturally. Next question is, what about the house inspection? What about the water quantity, the water quality, the septic, if we're buying a house on a well and septic? Well, the labs are still operating. You can still get your water test done. You just need to, unfortunately, make sure that you have a clause in there or an agreement with the lab that it's going to get a 5-day maximum turnaround time. Because if you are waiting for that water quality to come back, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. Now, the other thing let's look at pricing here, because all of a sudden a lot of the competition that's been in the Halifax market has, I won't say gone, but has certainly rapidly slowed down. So we're not looking at a lot more multiple offers. We're not looking at having to getting a house within the first 30 minutes of it being live on MLS so you can actually see the property. And it's really going to just slow everything down again. So can you buy a house? Yes, you can. Is it a bit more challenging? Yes, it is. Could it take a little bit longer for your conditions? Yes, it could, because we just have to appreciate that everything is slowing down. So that's the tip. That's the answer, that yes, you still can. We're still doing viewings. We're still out there looking at houses. We're still trying to get you the best value possible. The good thing is, it's now probably become a little bit easier to get that value because a lot of the competition's dropped out of the market. So if you have any questions, you can get hold of me. The number's coming right up. And as always, we're here to help you get the best deal for your house and make sure that we carry on as normally as possible in this new world.